Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Now I thought I'd revisit with a lot of changes that I've done obviously with my recent mastery change, like going back and checking out old champions and seeing how they function, because obviously the way that I played them previously is not how I play them now, based on having a mastery set that if you do SP1s and SP2s, it does affect recoil. So that is a big issue for the keeping of health, because when you do things like incursions, health matters, so you want to keep as much health on as possible. And as well, when it comes to other champions as well, it's important to keep that health tight. And one of the biggest issues with running these type of masteries is a champion like Stark Spidey. And one of those champions that I can't really utilize as much is going to be Stark Spidey, but I thought I'd take it out for the spin. We've got some Labyrinth footage, we've also got some Realm of Legends footage, of course. But the fact is, yeah, Hero's Mantra. Hero's Mantra is the biggest issue I think that comes with this, and that is that we want to have great power. Above 50% health, Spider-Man's taunts last 2 seconds longer, and each charge of poise grants him an additional 495.74 critical rating, which is one of the most important things. Now, as you know, SP2s are one of the best things about this champion. Once you've built up the SP2, once you've built up the poise charges to 10, hitting with an SP2 is electric. Web shots have a 70% chance to shock the opponent, dealing 2,324.7 energy damage over 6.5 seconds. So that is something that is vitally important, but let's face it, you don't want to throw SP2 because you'll recoil damage. And long haul fights mean that, well, unless you're playing to hit in the SP3, and unless you're playing just to put in the poise damage, where once you've ramped up with those poise charges, you are outputting a huge amount of damage. If that is where you're functioning, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. But effectively, if you want to throw in specials, you're only really going to look towards your SP3, especially when it comes to high hit pool fights. And to give you a good example, I'll be using this champion against Captain America Beardo fight in 6.3.6, and yeah, will I keep it on to S-word masteries? I don't know. The fact is, I like the damage output that is currently being seen, and it is more than when I had it with the non-S-word mastery synergies in the past. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, then, and by the way, you need to do is search RichTheMan Stark Spidey, and it will come up with the previous video that was done a long time ago. But obviously, doing this mastery change, I have to experiment with champions that work, and also bending the way that I currently deal with them, the way that I used to. Because I like Stark Spidey for power control. You can either do an option of do a parry and then a heavy attack, and the heavy attack does really help out because it's got the ability to do an EMP web shot and drains 45% of the opponent's power meter, but it has a cooldown of 30 seconds. So that's one downside there to having, you know, this champion that I utilised a lot. I would actually recommend this champion for the Pyramid X Storm fight this month for Uncollected, and as well obviously Master, whatever you're fighting against, because there's the ability not to get hit, there's good evades in it and stuff. Yes, it is glancing, but you know, you hit him well, you time it well, then it kind of like it builds up quite nicely. I think that this champion is a decent enough champion for that, and especially if you keep it above the desired 50%, you can do some damage. But as well, that's the downside. Most of the time you'll be getting great responsibility. So Spider-Man's chance to evade an attack increases by a flat plus 7%, and each charge of poise grants 90.16 additional block proficiency. So it's helpful. You can like utilize the block of this champion. And look, it is good still without S-word masteries or self-deletion masteries as I have at the moment. But it was really fun to take it against the Labyrinth and Legends fight and find out what I could really do. I must admit, there was kind of like some scuffy things, and obviously a few kind of like playing mistakes. And that's the thing about like, you need to constantly keep yourself up with the fight. And I went from playing with Corvus like quite a bit to then going Corvus in Variant 1, to give you an idea, against the Ultron bosses of chapter 3, and then going to then switch to Labyrinth and Legends, and I'm still kind of in Corvus mode, so it's kind of like difficult to kind of like go shift quite quickly, especially when you're recording content, which I'm doing at the moment for a few things, so I can take a bit of time off during this Easter weekend and Easter bank holiday. But yeah, I must admit, it was quite fun to return back to this champion for the purpose of these mastery setups, and I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody running S-word masteries or self-deletion masteries. It would be a case, yes, you can still use it. I'm not saying you can't use it. I'm just saying it's one of those that unless you've got a desired purpose for it, and yes, okay, you like the damage from the SP2, and yeah, okay, it's going to be great to see about, you know, nearly 40,000, over 40,000 damage from doing an SP2, and also seeing that shock after that. It is not going to be a case that you can get a full enjoyment as you would do from other champions that benefit from S-word masteries, like just off the top of my head, Warlock, Corvus Glaive, Doctor Doom, Medusa, Cat Marvel Movie, you know, the list goes on. And there we have it. That has been a video all about Stark Spidey and is particularly using self-deletion masteries. And yeah, I just felt this was a nice kind of opportunity to revisit some champions that I didn't have prior to switching back about 2-3 years ago from having self-deletion masteries. Now I've got them again. It's just nice to kind of have a look at the sort of current meta type champions and seeing whether or not there's kind of like a working relationship that can be with masteries and as well with these champions. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye bye for now.